All right, here's what I wanted to show you guys. I wanted to show you guys this different style Unkillable clan boss team, because I have never seen it, at least in a video. There is the great website didwithjedi.com. It has this comp on there. It's not specifically this comp. The champions are kind of interchangeable. There's only one champ that's not interchangeable. That's the Maneater. So yeah. So basically, if you're building an Unkillable team, you kind of need a Maneater. That's kind of the way it goes. And hey, that's okay. Not everybody's got a Maneater. You can build different kinds of clan boss teams. But I have a Maneater, so I'm gonna go ahead and try build an Unkillable clan boss team. And this one is fairly unique because I haven't seen a specific team before, at least in a video, and that's mainly because of Sir Nick. Sir Nick's A2 used to be busted. It still is busted if you don't have the team set up, but now because we have the team set up and we can turn off abilities, we can use Sir Nick now. So Sir Nick is excellent for this because he also hits freaking hard. He hits so hard. His A1, I could see his A1 doing over 100k damage. It's really nice. So in this setup, we got Maneater, only champion that cannot be changed out. Sir Nick can be changed out to a Rosh card or a Warcaster. And then the other champ that's kind of important is, but it can also be changed out. You have Apothecary here. Apothecary can be switched out for a High Katoon. We need that 30% speed increase and the 15% turn meter fill to make this composition work. And then we have two DPS champions. One of them's kind of fast, one of them's not so fast. We'll take a look at the gear and the speeds and all the masteries and setup afterwards, but let's just go ahead and get into this Unkillable clan boss team. And here we go. The setup for this is pretty simple. I'm certain there's a way you can set this up to where it's full auto from the start, but I'm a little lazy for that, and it's really not that hard to get it going. So Maneater goes first. We go ahead and use his A1, and then Sir Nick goes, and we go ahead and pop the Unkillable on us already. So 2-turn Unkillable, continuous heal is whatever, it doesn't necessarily matter. Dracomorph is our first DPS champion. He's going to go, and then the clan boss is going to take a turn. Hits us relatively weak on the first shot. Then we got Rosin, who's our second DPS. I like to use Sheer just because it's hard hitting and we have decreased defense and weaken again, plus it'll get it that extra turn. Now we have to speed boost immediately with Apothecary or High Katoon, whichever one you choose. And now, Maneater, you think that you want to pop this, but you don't. I use his A2 here because of the decreased defense and the weaken. Makes it hit a little bit harder. And then Sir Nick, you never want to use this A2. Boom! 73k, look at that. And then, actually, once we use that second ability from Maneater, we can full auto this. But I'm kind of a little particular, so I like to go to the next turn until it's Maneater's turn. And then we use his Unkillable, and then we auto. And let's see what kind of damage this does. We should be fully Unkillable. We should not take a stun. And we should not take a debuff on the second turn from the AoE. So it's very nice. It definitely works against Spirit Affinity. So we'll have a look at this clan boss run. I'll see if I can speed it up here. We'll see what we can do. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, as you can see here, we're coming up on turn 50, and it's definitely a comfortable 2-key. Definitely a comfortable 2-key against the clan boss here. Unkillable team, Ultra Nightmare. This is really nice. This is really nice because I was using a budget team before, like the Maneater, Painkeeper, and then a Slow Boy champion, and I was having to switch out the DPSers depending on the affinity, and it was never even a 2-key. It was always a 3-key, and there it goes, 38.87 million. For 2-key, you need about 34.9. I want to say 30. No, maybe it's like 35.1 or something. It doesn't matter. 35 is the number we aim for Ultra Nightmare, and we got it. We looked at Sir Nick, didn't do, he does about 5.5. Rosin does about 6. Dracomorph is the key DPSer here. I think if you don't have a Dracomorph, you could probably use a Feign. Feign will probably work as well. you can play around with this, right? Whoever your best DPS champion is for Clan Boss, preferably somebody who can do decreased defense and weaken, or even just decreased defense. And poison is kind of the big thing too. And you know, rosin can get switched out obviously for somebody who hits harder, I guess. So that's the Ultra Nightmare version. We'll take a look at the Nightmare version here coming up next, and this is fun. This is fun. It always makes me feel good when I progress throughout the game, and I hope this can help progress you guys as well. We just did the Ultra Nightmare run on Magic Affinity, I believe it was, and I wanted to show you guys the gear that I used on my champions because it changes. It changes for Ultra Nightmare and Nightmare just on Dracomorph. So the setups that we have here is we have Sir Nick obviously in whatever gear we wanted. I just kind of put it into the optimizer. HellHades optimizer is fantastic for setting up these clan boss teams. So I had him at 216, almost 100% crit rate, 254 crit damage, because Sir Nick hits pretty hard. There's a reason why I wanted to use him for my clan boss team, and he kind of sucked before we had the ability to change the team setup and turn off abilities and prioritize abilities and whatnot. So obviously we can turn off his A2 now, so he doesn't use it for clan boss, and he becomes viable. So that's kind of the reason why I wanted to use him so much. 54k HP is kind of low, but getting the speed right and getting enough crit rate and crit damage really helps. And then I wanted enough accuracy just for other content. So his build here, 216, obviously we don't care about the defense. For the other champs, we got Rosin is one of our DPSs. I don't really have a better option built up at 60, fully booked and whatnot right this second. And you can see we don't really have him in anything. It's all just a bunch of rando gear here. I do have him fully booked though, which is nice. You know, everybody has the ability to get a Rosin at some point. He can hit pretty hard. His defense is a little low here. It's only 3,400. That could be higher, obviously. But 100% crit rate, 235 crit damage, and I have him at 157 speed. 157 speed works as far as the composition is set up. Obviously, 226 accuracy, so we can still potentially use him in other areas of the game. Works out really nice. I mean, 157 speed kind of reduces the opportunity to use him in other parts of the game, but you know, it is what it is. Alright, so the next piece we have here is our Dracomorph. He is our main DPSer. I have him in Perception and Cruel, mainly because I wanted to get his accuracy and his speed up to the right spot, and then Cruel for ignoring some defense, which is nice. So if we look at his total stats, I got him at 206. This is only for Ultra Nightmare. The only character that changes for the Ultra Nightmare versus Nightmare run is Dracomorph. So for Ultra Nightmare, I have him running at 206 speed with 4,000 attack, 102 crit, 222 crit damage. Obviously, again, these stats can be better. 222 is not that great, but you know, it is what it is. 4k attack is pretty good. And then 260 accuracy to use him in other parts of the game. I think I use him in Tag Team Arena. So having him fast enough, you know, is good. And he's obviously fully booked. He was like my second or third Lego I ever pulled, so fully booked definitely helps. This doesn't have to be fully booked. It doesn't matter. This obviously doesn't have to be fully booked. This one you kind of want to be fully booked because it's your decreased defense and your weaken, and it's a place which is so fantastic because the affinity doesn't matter as far as you're talking about decreased defense and weaken goes. Alright, so then our next champion here is going to be obviously our Maneater. I got him in speed, crit damage. I don't know why. I put all 5 of these champs in the HellHades optimizer, and I punched in the speed, and then I tried to, you know, fine-tune the stats. Still fine-tuning the stats as we go. Obviously, look at this. His chest plate's only level 12. It can be better. It can be better. I just don't really have the silver to upgrade it right now. The main thing here is speed. It can be 255, I believe, or 256. 100% crit. Very low crit damage. Accuracy, we don't want accuracy on Maneater. The main reason why we don't want... everything else is kind of whatever the stats. The speed is the most important thing, 256. And then you don't want accuracy on Maneater because of his A1. Will place decreased attack, and with an unkillable team, you don't need decreased attack. And obviously, I don't even have it booked. You can see that, and I don't even have the A2 booked. I got very lucky. I put 3 books into this guy, and I got his A3 booked. This is the only one you need booked. Now, if you want more damage, you know, sure, A1, A2, get them booked, but I don't need them booked. Oh, I didn't even look at masteries. We'll look at masteries afterwards. Go back and look at masteries. So Maneater, 256 speed's the main thing. 255, 256. I think you have a little play there. Then our last champ in the comp is Apothecary. Apothecary can be replaced with High Katoon, I believe. And fully booked. I think this is the only one you care about being fully booked. It needs to be 3-turn cooldown. Look at his total stats. The most important thing here is the speed. 130 speed, right on the dot. It has to be 130 speed. Everything else doesn't matter. Literally doesn't matter. He doesn't have any debuffs, so accuracy doesn't matter. Resistance, none of this stuff matters. Because the only thing we care about for Apothecary in this setup here is this ability right here, the increased speed and the turn meter fill. So you need to have 30% increased speed and then 15% turn meter fill at 130 speed, and this works swimmingly. And I believe the only other champ that has this exact same ability is High Katoon. So if we look at our masteries, we'll start with Apothecary and work our way up. I just went typical offense, clan boss tree. He helps getting the Giant Slayer for his A1. And then we just went defense for some counterattacks with Retribution. It's pretty standard for clan boss teams to go offense, either War Master, Giant Slayer, and then Retribution. We look at Maneater. Maneater's the same. We got War Master. You can't really see because of my cam, but we got War Master down here. We got Retribution, and then I added Deterrence here. So anytime anybody gets stunned, which is probably never going to happen, but you know, it's an opportunity. You know, it comes. We look at Dracomorph. Literally the exact same build as Maneater. If we look at, if we can just change a couple of the offense masteries here, but they're both in War Master with Retribution. Look at Rosin. I got Rosin not even fully maxed out here, but I got him in this kind of accuracy tree. I don't know why. You can obviously switch him around and put him in this. I think all I did was I got enough masteries to get him to Giant Slayer for his A1. And you can obviously put him in the same defense Retribution tree. And then I got Cernic in the offense. Come on. Here, come on, mouse. Hey, there we go. Got him in the same offense. Got him down to War Master. Got him over here in Retribution. More counterattacks means more damage. It's really nice. And that's the setup. So if we want to go to Nightmare, all the other speeds are the same with the exception of Dracomorph. Now Dracomorph can be switched out for anybody. So Dracomorph and Rosin can be basically whoever you want as DPS. Fane probably works really well. I'm thinking about trying to switch out Rosin and put in Farrak in the Fat, but I don't have him built up yet. So if we want to go from Ultra Nightmare to Nightmare, we have to pop up this other sheet. Let me get this other sheet going here really quick. Where is it? There we go. Right here. We'll bring it over here. Go back into this. And I have this set up over here on a notepad with the gear that I have for Dracomorph. It's literally, I change out his weapon, his gloves, and his boots. And it kind of seems counterintuitive, right? So his weapon, I have it as a Perception 6-star epic here with 20 speed. We equip that. I have his gloves. Oh, great. His gloves are Avenging. Where's Avenging at? We'll see. We'll see. There it is. The only piece of Avenging gear I have of gloves. And then his boots. Oh, come on, game. Anytime. There we go. And then his boots are Cruel. 5-star Cruel. Oh, wrong way. Wrong way. There they go. 5-star rare cruel. HellHades, man. Works the wonders here. So then we do that. We just set those 3 up. And now we have Dracomorph's total stats at 217 speed. He's got a little less crit damage, which is okay. It's not that much. It's like 10%. He's still at 100 crit. His attack actually went up to 4100, but his speed is now 217. The most important thing here, 217, he has to be faster than Sir Nick, and Sir Nick is at 216. With 1 speed set there, Dracomorph's got a perception set. It kind of works out. True speeds kind of work out. Neither of them have the Lore of Steel Mastery, which gives you, what, a 5% or something, 10% boost to artifact sets. So in the setup, you have to switch your high speed DPS to be faster than your second unkillable champ. So Maneater is always going to be your fastest, simply because he places the block debuffs with his unkillable. And then Sir Nick, I chose Sir Nick over Tower or Warcaster. You really just need somebody. It's either Tower, Warcaster, or Sir Nick. I picked Sir Nick because I don't have Tower, and I have Warcaster. I don't really. He doesn't hit as hard, so I picked Sir Nick for that. It just has to be faster. I don't know why. For Nightmare, it's faster, but it is. So we're gonna go in here, and we're gonna go into an a regular Nightmare, and now we have. So that last one was on Magic Affinity, worked pretty nice. This one is on Spirit Affinity. And this is actually probably going to do more damage. So the team setup is literally the same, right? We didn't change a single thing about it. So we turned Sir Nick's A2 off because he's dummy. I don't know why he's a dummy. I don't think that Rosin will use his A3 anyway. I think the AI is smart enough not to, but we turn it off just in case. Dracomorph, we just want these. I'm pretty sure Dracomorph works well, but we just want him to use them whenever they're available. Same with Maneater. He's probably pretty smart to use this, but from what I've heard, I heard that he sometimes doesn't use Siphon. So we just make it this. We just put 2 on it just to make sure he uses it, because this ability can hit hard. Obviously, it doesn't decrease the turn meter and fill his turn meter, but it can hit hard. And then for Apothecary, we don't care about his heals, and he's gonna try to heal, so we turn him off, and we always want him using his boon of speed. Excuse me. So that's our setup there, and then we do not want to start this on auto. We'll get this going and show you guys. This is a 1 key on Nightmare for every affinity except for Force, simply because I have Dracomorph and Rosin. If you used anybody else, it would be different. So the setup for Nightmare is literally the same as Ultra Nightmare. We can use any ability for Maneater other than his A3 right off the bat. Dracomorph comes in front of Sir Nick. I don't know why. But it works, and now Sir Nick comes out with his Unkillable right off the bat. Then we get hit by the clan boss. Great. Now Rosin, I like to use his A2. You can use his A1 or his A3, it doesn't really matter. I like to use his A2 because it hits really hard, and we already have this, and we can increase the decreased defense and weaken. 70k right there, even on weak affinity. Look at that. All right, and then we speed boost immediately with our Apothecary. Now we do not use his A3 again, but we're going to Maneater's A3, not yet. We use the Siphon ability, boom, it hits, and now we full auto, because the next turn that matters is going to be that right there, and that's what's going to keep us from getting this decreased speed debuff, which is really nice. And so on Spirit Affinity, we don't have to worry about the decreased speed debuff, which is kind of amazing, and it makes it to where we don't have to change the setup for Nightmare or Ultra Nightmare. It's literally the same setup. So I'm going to let this run, and we shall see how much damage we get. I think it's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 42 million. We'll see. Awesome. Sweet. All right. as we can see, we have one keyed Nightmare. I mean, kind of by the skin of our teeth, but hey, it's pretty consistent. I have not gone up against any affinity other than Force, where this wasn't a one key Nightmare. Even just getting 40 million, it's perfectly fine with me. So as we can see here, we got pretty decent damage from Sir Nick. We got almost 20 million from Dracomorph. That's why Dracomorph is so good. It basically does half of our damage against any affinity, mainly because the hardest hitting, one of the hardest hitting A1s in the game. It's kind of ridiculous. But also he puts out 4 freaking poisons, as well as decreased defense and weakened. Dracomorph is one of the best champions in the game. And yeah, Manator's doing almost 6. Apothecary's doing 3.5, and that's mainly because of Giant Slayer. Well, that's really only because of Giant Slayer. Rosin is the weak affinity here, so he's only doing about 5. And obviously Rosin's not the most ideal. This can definitely be improved. My gear is not the greatest, and Rosin needs to get switched out. Rosin, but I don't have a real better option at this point. So I hope that I hope this works out. I hope that this is a little bit of information that's not out there yet and that people can use. So I appreciate it.